I got chased by the devil on horseback when I was younger. Frightened me so much over a period of a month or so that I packed in glue sniffing altogether. I didn't really want to do it in the beginning, but once I'd done it one time, it was amazing. No wonder I wanted to do it again. I was far from that kind of kid. Only a year or so earlier, I'd become national gymnastic champion for my age. I was very sporty, very fast, very straight. I've always kept a part of me that's like that, but I've also always been curious to experience things, especially things that are thrust in front of my face. Not like that. I draw the line there. But I'm talking about groups of kids coming past you every other couple of days with a tube of glue going, "We're going sniffing, you coming, you coming." Eventually, they wore me down until I was like, "Alright, I'll come." So I went to this barn. It was in the hospital fields. I used to live over the road from it in the house before the one I was living in. So I was familiar with this field and this barn. They would call it a barn. It's a big shed. Anyway, we kind of went in there. There was about 6 or 7 of us, and they all put glue into bags, and they gave me a bag. And I started to breathe it in and out, and it gave a buzzing noise in my head, like a zud noise. It was zzz, and that got bigger. It was like there was 3 stages, like these baby zuds, like mummy zuds got a bit bigger, and then the daddy zuds. When it was really going, your head felt like it was going to explode or something. I don't know, it was scary. And so I kind of, no, and they were like, no, keep going. So I kind of trusted them because they'd been doing it and enjoying it, and you know. So anyway, carried on, and all of a sudden it sort of went ding, like white noise in my head, and I kind of must have shut my eyes for a second, then opened them, and everything had changed. This barn now had hay bales in it. There was wagon wheels on the wall. We were all dressed in American Yankee uniforms, like I'm not sure which ones, but the blue and yellow ones. But there was also the rebellion flag on the wall, a bit confusing. Anyway, real as day, everyone was dressed in it, there was music going on, and we were kind of in a party, and I got it while they were doing it. This was ridiculous. This was awesome. Everything was different, the whole world had changed. And this went on for about 10 or 15 minutes, then a policeman walked through the door, and that kind of brought it down to earth a little bit, because he was a policeman, and he asked everyone to go outside. We chucked our bags out of the way, and tried to take everyone's names down. Everyone was like, and one guy went first, and he gave a false name, and but he spelt it with an apostrophe in it, and the policeman knew instantly he was lying, and we had to snigger as well. It was ridiculous. Anyway, he took everyone's name, said he was going to report us to our parents. We all went home, really worried. Anyway, everyone sort of reported over the next couple of days, being told off and all of this and that. But my mum didn't say a word to me. I thought she was playing the old guilt game that she likes to play. If you're naughty, she'd just go quiet, wouldn't say anything, until eventually it was so intense that you would quietness that you would come clean and admit, okay, I'm sorry, I was wrong, whatever it was. And then once you'd admitted you were sorry, then it was all good again. You know, everything was reset, you could go again, and that was the kind of scene. So after about a week and she hadn't said anything, it was too much for me, so I had to tell her. "Oh, okay what?" And I was like, and there was just no, spit it out, and it was like, okay, and I just wanted to purge myself. So I said, I glue sniffed and I got caught. And she was horrified, not surprised. I sort of made out that I did it once and felt sick, and so I'd never do it again. But a policeman came and took our names down, and she kind of just brushed over it, just like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, great, you got away with it. And that was it. What I didn't realise, the next time that the opportunity was presented to me, I thought, yeah, but this time I won't get caught. And so we used to do it in a variety of different spots with different glues, Eva stick and Fix-A-Fix, whatever we could get our hands on. It was getting harder to buy it in the shops. There was, I didn't realise, but back in the 80s there was a bit of an epidemic. The craze, you know, it was spreading like wildfire. It was really popular, and I'm not surprised, because it transported you into another dimension. Whether that was true or false, it didn't matter. That's what seemed to be happening. You were alive in a dream, and the dream could be different at any point. Once we went to the woods, crackly woods, and we all spread out, and we all had a tube each and bag, and found a quiet spot where no people would ever, discover us. And I settled down under this big oak. I started doing it, and was doing it and going like that. Closed my eyes and I looked around me, and I was surrounded by massive white eggs. And I was like, I couldn't work out what it was. And then I heard a noise in the distance, and a pterodactyl came from nowhere and was flapping over my head. And they're basically flapping and coming down with his beak, and it was getting ferocious. It was the mother. I was in the nest of eggs. So I legged it through stingers and brambles and everything, like you wouldn't believe, running for my life. So it wore off, and I went back, and the eggs were gone. I realised, oh, it was just a dream, but it was so real. And then when it comes to meeting the devil, basically I knew I was, one, kind of breaking some kind of rules here, and two, going against, I was always told if you do bad things the devil will get you. We grew up in a kind of Christian way, went to a Church of England school. You really get on with church, I find it really boring. And I liked the values of the school, and I liked my colourful school, or kids' Bible. I liked the colours in it, I liked the stories, they were all great. So I grew up like that. And I remember actually, just before, it was at the same time where I was started getting this buzzy head, and it had gone ding in a split second, just before it turned into all the wagon wheels. It was almost like it was like there was a sub, there was underground, there was where we were, and somewhere in the middle, and there was a kind of lazy, timeless secretary sat there, phone went, yeah, got another one coming down, and it was a split second, but it was a realisation that I kind of made a decision by doing this that I could never turn back from. That stayed with me, almost like when you cross over into the underworld, you can never come back. And I've never been able to properly fathom what on earth that was. But anyway, I knew I was doing slightly wrong, or it felt like I was, because society had said it was wrong. But the problem was, compared to the straight reality that I'd always grown up within, everything being seen through the senses that you're given, your natural senses, by doing the gluing and going into this dream, it kind of turned what you thought you were seeing as the normal world on its head. All of a sudden you could have a change of outfit, complete change of scenery in a scene, from a different era, from back in time, future. It was phenomenal, and I found it very exciting, so I kept on going back. But the thing that did put me off was the devil. One day I was doing it, and I looked up and there was a bit of a mirror in front of me, and as I looked in the mirror, I could see the devil creeping up behind me, and I looked round and he wasn't there, but it put the wind up me. I no longer sort of had control of it. I was being haunted by a demon. That's what was going on there. But whether these things exist or is a whole different thing. Whether it was all my imagination, whether I tapped into anyway, whether it was a projection of my inner fears that I was now looking internally, but appearing to look externally. Couldn't put my finger on it. A lot for a 13, 14-year-old to try and analyse and think about. And I probably wasn't alone in thinking that, even though there were a lot of people who just did it because they did it because you got a buzz. I was fascinated. Anyway, so the devil crept up one time, and I kind of dismissed it. Did it again after about a week or two, thinking I'll be safe. I was doing it, and I heard a nay, and I looked over. We were down this place we called the Brook, hidden away from everyone, kind of, great place for dens and stuff. And I basically saw the devil bolting towards me on a big horse, and all red, full devil look, horns, all of it, and came galloping, and I knew it was coming from me, and so I legged it into the stingers this time. He jumped over the brook and fucking shit the life out of me, and then galloped off. But enough to make me think, oh, I've had enough of this. But so give it fast 2 or 3 more weeks, and found a whole group of us. It was decided that there was going to be a gluing party down this real secret part of the brook, and about 15-20 people went. And I thought, oh, I'll be fine. There's loads of people around anyway. I was doing so, and I thought, yeah, no problem. And then I looked, and from behind a tree in the distance, I saw his head creep out, and then going back again. It was just like, oh, fucking hell. I mean, it was a proper schizophrenia by this point. And so I put the bag down. I thought, oh, I'm not doing it again. A few weeks later, we found ourselves in another situation. This time, we were doing it, and I sat down, and all the twigs turned to snakes. I was doing it, and I looked down, and it was like, fucking hell, it's just fucking hell. There was snakes everywhere. And legged it out of there, in this place. Ran down this sort of pathway, came to the road, a red pickup truck pulled up with the devil leaning out of me going, all right there? And I was just like, fucking enough. And I didn't do it again after that. I couldn't. There was just this. It was getting worse, and so I stopped then. That was gluing. I'll refer back to that in another couple of stories that I've got. That was my first brief encounter with the devil.